G League's defense, #1 in field goal percentage defense. So the game within the game as we allow the trends to develop in this one. Jalen Green has had 3 straight performances of at least 21 points, and he opens up the scoring for Ignite.
We've talked to several coaches around the league, and they're just so impressed with the job that Brian Shaw has done, in particular, and how he's getting these young guys to grasp the NBA concepts on offense already.
Green working in concert with Ashley. The extra pass. Dante Hall was left wide open on the block.
Green really grow in this young G League season. As Brian Shaw said, these guys came from high school where they had the ball in their hands all the time, but now they're learning how to make plays by giving the basketball up. He was just so in touch with his team and his players, and talked about getting to know them personally, and he's really putting the pieces together.
Hall runs the floor for the one-handed thump.
Jalen Green coming down the court, head up.
Has been a big difference maker for Ignite. Jalen Adams all the way in, and it could be worth 1, 2, or 3 points depending on the situation. Jared Utoff lines it up from 3, and Erie retained possession. Pass stolen, numbers the other way, lobbed up for Spellman, who somehow got it while falling to the ground. On the season, Ignite averaging more turnovers than assists per game. Jonathan Kuminga gets the bounce. Jared Utoff with the shot clock winding down. Justin Wright Foreman beats the buzzer off the bench and launching a 3.
Coach Pannone said, we want to attack this Ignite defense in transition.
Bounces it to Ashley after getting caught midair, and Spellman grabs another rebound, his 3rd. Najee Marshall wide open and gets the members bounce.
Just come out of quarantine, you got to give him some credit, because having all of those days of not playing and not really being able to get into a rhythm, then jumping into your first game, I can't imagine.
Winston off glass definitely speeds the game up and keeps it moving, but for somebody cold coming off the bench, they don't get the opportunity to really get in a rhythm there as Winston knocks down a 3.
It will be probably a little bit more one-on-one for the team that's top 5 in assists in this league.
Najee Marshall finding a rhythm, who had a birthday performance for the ages over the weekend with 25 points. Knicks running the show and finding Kuminga. Watch there by Jared Utoff. Kuminga spinning, leaning in, and a nice finish inside.
Down, and we've seen him make some nice moves even from a post entry, so he basically backs down into the puck these young guys have chosen over going to college. I mean, that's the advantage. You're getting coached by and playing with guys that have NBA experience. The decision by these young guys impacts more high school prospects for years to come, on whether or not they decide to make the jump and go pro right away. All the guys that we're watching right now move in the NBA draft.
Jordan Bell cleans it up, 3 of 5 from the field. That actually lowers his season average. On the run out, it's Jalen Adams. Erie getting out in transition and building a 21-point lead.
The Erie's offense or Ignite's defense, well, it's been all Erie's offense, finished with the punctuation.
Ignite has already turned it over 5 times.
Yeah, I mean, when you watch the passing of this Erie team, they make a living.
And the Bluecoats will be in action tonight, 7 p.m. against Iowa on ESPN+. But we'll see how much longer Ignite is undefeated. Jared Jack pushing without numbers. On the pull-up, pure. Jared Jack, the 13-year NBA vet.
Well, he's been shooting the ball so well. He looks like one of the splash cousins out there with his confidence. And that shot will be there for Jack because Erie, again, is going to protect the paint first.
Ignite defensively can lock in on one particular player.
And there are some smaller lineups for Erie today because they're missing a couple of their big players. So everyone's playing up a position, which makes them small.
Getting some separation on the backup 3. Now it's into Todd in the post, using his length, shooting over Holmesley.
Well, we've got a while to go. You got to keep that endurance up because you're 2 players short in the rotation. So we'll see what this looks like in the fourth quarter.
Oh,
nice rebound, put back by Kuminga.
Caleb Holmesley well beyond the arc. Tony Carr probing. Looks to the baseline, picked up by Holmesley. Now Najee Marshall strokes a three.
Does a little bit of everything.
Brown feeding it inside to Kuminga. It was disrupted and now transition the other way. Marshall to Holmesley. Kuminga on the drive, working his way in, finishing off glass on an impressive move.
Agility, the explosiveness. I really like when he catches the ball at the elbow area and has some room to create.
Cody Demps, a G League veteran, has his attempt blocked. On the run out, Carr leaves it for Bell. Another lay-in and another transition hoop.
And he has a lot of NBA playoff experience from his days with Golden State.
Holmesley will turn around and crank a three. It's been that type of afternoon for Erie. Good defense by Jalen Green. Getting to the rim.
Money that, the guys are being paid, on this Ignite team. And so there are a lot of factors for why teams around the G League can't wait for their opportunity. Teams are just going to want to run the score up on them. And not that Erie wouldn't want to do that at any other time, but they look especially motivated today to me.
Winston all the way in with the finger roll. Total of 15 roster spots opened at the next level. And so Marshall getting the bucket there. Kuminga entry to Brandon Ashley. Nice two-man game between the bigs. Skyforce not down at the bubble this year, and so in January, G League president Sharif Abdur-Rahim reached out again.
So enjoying this opportunity to work with young guys, and you see his leadership and his coaching as you watch the game, and there they go right there, Green to Kuminga.
Spellman with the advantage over Jack.
Good recognition. On the switch, Erie was patient enough to take advantage of it. Beautiful pass by Jack. Pushing the ball up the floor or just making the right pass in the right place just makes this Ignite offense move beautifully.
Final 30 seconds of the half. Buckling down against Jack, who throws a cross-court pass intercepted by Utah. Numbers the other way. Spellman through the lane and a thunderous jam. Two statistical storylines that we established at the start have both been in Erie's favor. Nice ball movement to the cutting Jonathan Kuminga.
Leadership of Bobby Brown in this lineup to start, and how they can get this team just playing in a rhythm on either end of the floor.
Utah going end to end. Handing it off to Adams. The three is good, and the foul. Spent 6 games earlier this season with the Washington Wizards playing.
I believe that might have been their second, David. I don't think they go that long without a three ball. They had, 10 and a half, 12 now?
Utah, such a great decision maker, calls his own number.
Not necessarily a traditional screen, just sometimes a handoff, but he's really good at using his frame to protect the shot.
Offensive rebound, and Ashley gliding to the rim.
Mentioned that Erie had to go small with a couple players out today, and Ashley's physicality, they can get some looks in the middle of the paint.
Down to the wire. And so I guess, LaChina, part of this development as a pro is Winston knocks it down.
And especially as a young pro, again, it's not always about the shots falling or turnovers that you can't get back, but how do you adjust your attitude, your approach to the game, gets to the rim on a smooth move there, but you want to see the consistent effort. They just don't look like they've got that spark and that same energy that they've had. But again, you got to credit Erie because they've been the aggressor.
Compressed to just 25 days, and so you're not going to have more than a day off in between games, if that. a number of back-to-backs, of course.
And I'm sure Erie's telling the young guys to just suck it up. Like, right? Got those young legs. How you respond to it. And it may not end in you winning the game. It's going to be pretty hard at this point as Nick gets to the rack.
Well, the connection's needed.
Yeah.
Bell, baseline slam. 2:05 to go, third quarter. Jarrett Jack penetrating and one. Daisha Nix driving in.
Knight called a clear out for Nix. But help defense got there in time, and there he is, Splash Cousin. I think Splash Cousin is okay. You know, you got older cousins.
He was the #1 prospect in the ESPN Top 100 in the class of 2021. So, LaChina, are you one of those people that believe in burning the tape or stewing in it for a little while?
I'm one that believes in burning the tape. You stay in the rhythm of what you've done to this point. You know, that's one thing I can appreciate from my college basketball experience is that, you know, you're always going to look at film even when you win.
We'll be implementing the experimental G League free throw rule for the first 10 minutes of this quarter, and then in the final 2, it's back to the traditional NBA standard. Ignite building that undefeated record. They did so by winning 4 games by an average of 7 points. The steal and the stuff. Jared Utoff at the end of last season as part of the restart, so he makes his return to Lake Buena Vista as a member of Erie, and a transition flush. There was just one lead change back in the first quarter. Largest lead of the afternoon for Erie was 43. All right in line with their season profile entering today's game. Headman feed, that's Green. Running the floor with a purpose. Catch that game on ESPN+. And for Canton, a day after taking down Austin, they're in a big hole.
As he was shaking his head going back down the other way. And there's been those moments in this game where these guys just look like they can't get anything to go their way. One of the more shocking statistics for me in this game, David, is yes, the three-point shooting of Erie versus Ignite.
Did not see any action in the first 4 games for Ignite. Somebody that Brian Shaw indicated as Utoff slams it in off the rebound. Kuminga in the post, nice pivot, but it rolls off the rim. He's after his own miss and he sticks with it. Tony Carr with 4 seconds on the timer, pushes it in. Closing moments of what has been an impressive performance by Erie really from the jump, and Nix throws it for Kuminga. I would speculate it was something said, although we have a pretty good idea of what gets said on the floor at most times.
We're honestly getting so many early shot clock looks and knocking down threes that distorting the screen is what you're referring to, David.
Played and coached a number of games over the course of his basketball life at the wide world of sports. When he returned for the start of the season, he said it felt like home. Go Van, a flush.
Being that they have players on their roster for both teams, he spoke a lot about the work of Trajan Langdon and Tommy Shepard and Amber Nichols and Mark Chasnaw in this G League bubble with two-way players for both teams.
Yeah, also mentioned the Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations for New Orleans, David Griffin, with Teresa Weatherspoon for 2 years on Westchester Knicks broadcasts, and they snatched away the Hall of Famer.
That's something, you got a quick turnaround, you got a lot of games ahead of you. This is an adjustment for these young guys. The challenge, coach didn't win that challenge. I'm sticking with my there was no foul theory.
Second highest scoring team in the league delivered. Averaging 119 on the year, and they poured in 127 against it.